Hello friends, I hope you are well. Happy Father's Day to all fathers. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I also hope that today your dad jokes flow like Eminem's rhymes. Welcome to the Dirt Report, the tech and telecom news talk show every Sunday, unless either I'm sick or turn 30, which doesn't happen often. Both happens 2 weekends in a row. You can thank my local daycare for the first one. In any case, we have a great show for you today. Actually, someone asked me, why is it we? Well, my wife leaves the house, takes the dog and the kiddo out so I can have some peace and quiet to make these videos. I see that as a we kind of situation. In today's show, we have Chinese state hackers posing as Australian news entities, TPG playing the CVC game, and NBN upgrades may slow down. Thanks for jumping in. Apologies for the lack of videos. We'll be making it up double time, so make sure to tap the like button if you like this video and subscribe to support us. Let's get started by rolling the intro. Now, I know not many of you will feel sorry for News Corp, and rightly so. Murdoch's got plenty of money to feel sorry for himself. However, let's put all that aside and take a gander into a year-long, apparently sophisticated espionage campaign against our Australian News Corp. Over the last 12 months, hackers that, according to reports, are Chinese government aligned, which roughly translates to no free elections of national leaders, political opposition is suppressed, all religious activity is controlled by the CCP, dissent is not permitted, and civil rights are curtailed. Ultimately, a single-party authoritarian political system. Wait a minute. That seems oddly familiar. A single leader for all departments and ministries? Must be nothing. The media called this hacking, which has become a very loose term for wrongdoings online. The year-long campaign was a phishing scam. The hackers are, look, there I said it again. All right, let's see what the group is called. They are known as TA423 or Red Ladon. That seems kind of made up. Anyway, sent out emails which paraded themselves as fake news outlets. For example, Australian Morning News. Now, I know of a few news publications, but even to me that name seems quite plausible. The group sent out emails to invite current News Corp employees to write for their fake publications because they know News Corp employees don't get paid well enough. Or do they? These requests for cooperations are not new, but the links contained will potentially lead to theft of passwords, emails, or even identities, but ultimately information that could be used for espionage. Reports out of the cybersecurity industry say that Australia is under constant cyber attacks. These remarks were made by the Advisory Committee Chair, Andy Penn, who you might remember from such hits as exploiting Indigenous Australians through insidious Telstra mobile phone plans. Luckily, no News Corp employee clicked on the links due to their passion, loyalty, and absolute dedication to News Corp, as far as we know. Side note, since the group is sponsored by the Chinese government, you can in fact buy their merchandise. Made in China. But all this is very strange since back in 2015, allegedly, senior Liberal Party figures worked with News Corp to bring Australia under the influence of Xi Jinping's regime by trying to have Chinese enterprises purchase major Australian companies. But that's all water on the bridge now, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts below. Next up, TPG. The NBN CVC had a long history of generating heartache for RSPs, but some RSPs played the CVC like a fiddle. I think that's what a fiddle is. And they came out on top. You tell me if this was wrong of TPG, or was it a 4D chess move? In the latest ACCC Wholesale Market Indicator report, there were some weird user upgrades and downgrades. Links below for the comparison reports. According to the user movements table for TPG, around 300,000 50 down 20 up megabits plans NBN users were upgraded to the 100 down and 20 megabit up plans, only to be moved back to the 50/20 plans around 3 months later. 300,000 customers upgrading to the higher tier is a massive win for a company, yet there were no announcements to their investors and the users were promptly downgraded not long after. According to IT News, this is about 1/3 of TPG's customer base and the only RSP to make such large moves. Well, what does this mean? Well, it looks like TPG found a glitch in the matrix, took the red pill, and went deep into the rabbit hole. As you may remember, we have talked about the NBN CVC a lot on this channel, and there are many aspects to it, but the main thing to know relating to this story is the amount of bandwidth inclusions in each plan. And the Achilles heel for the RSPs is the overage charges that have to fork out on when the wholesale plan they paid for runs out of juice, slowing down their customer internet speeds, the evening speeds kind of situation. So what gives? Well, it looks like TPG saw the opportunity to pay the $13 premium difference on the wholesale side and upgrade 300,000 customers as a way to up their own CVC inclusions that are, shared across all their customers. Now, the upgraded customers didn't actually get the 100 down 20 speed. They were still throttled to the 50/20 plan that they were actually paying for. So the customers was none the wiser, and they overall received a better service during the evenings. And this begs the question, why only for a certain amount of time did they move the plans? Is there an algorithm at work? Did they manage to play the system somehow? Was there a promotion for RSPs during that time to push for upgrades? Maybe a competition who gets the most moves. After all, NBN got their cut of the pie, so technically there were no losers in this story at all. The likely reason for the numbers to go back to the previous plan is the lack thereof the need for the higher bandwidth allocation after a potential spike. And that might just be that. TPG could have a system that periodically moves wholesale plans around to make sure that all TPG customers have enough bandwidth without costing the customer. So the cost is bore by TPG and likely assigned to a customer retention line on the P&L. And it kind of speaks to the weirdness of the CVC and I guess how far TPG will go to make their stuff work. So let me know your thoughts about that. Next up, NBN upgrades and why we may see a slowdown. The Australian Productivity Commission released a report last month on the digital divide, and you guessed it, NBN Co was smack bang in the center of it. The report, called 5-Year Productivity Inquiry, Australia's Data and Digital Divide, linked below, talked about how the investment in the NBN upgrades lacks transparency. After all, how do we know if Joe Bloggs is getting fiber to his home instead of an executive at NBN getting a large boat that's a tax write-off because it's used to travel between two offices on the same river? The report reads, despite the significant government investment in regional digital infrastructure, there is a lack of transparency around how these investments are made and which priorities are pursued. Allocating funding under programs such as the NBN, MBSP, and RCP to specific areas or connection types means less funding available for investments in other locations or technology. 5G, anyone? There is limited transparency about how such trade-offs have been weighted and if decisions made appropriately consider the relevant benefits and costs. You see, back in 2017, the Commission recommended transparency in funding decisions could be improved by commissioning an independent evaluation of the Mobile Black Spot program. Such an evaluation should consider measures to improve the program's operation to best ensure the program's objectives are prioritized and site selection is evidence-based. Who would have thought? Now, this recommendation was not accepted by the government. A similar case can be made for improving transparency around government decisions on providing funding to the NBN. Will the government accept this one? We shall see. For instance, the 2022 to 23 budget included a $480 million grant to upgrade the NBN's fixed wireless towers, which will improve broadband speeds and increase data allowances for some users. However, it is unclear how the decision was made to allocate government investment towards this connection type or to the locations currently serviced by these towers. Let's think of Starlink because that's just dropping in everyone and everyone's dropping NBN wireless. It will be important that these upgrades are accompanied by transparency around how and why they're able to be undertaken to ensure taxpayer funds are being spent effectively, efficiently, and well, they're going to get a return on investment. So why all this angst against the NBN? Why should there be more transparency? Why do we keep talking about this? Well, as you may have noticed, COVID-19 has accelerated technology use as parts of the economy have had to conduct businesses online during the pandemic. This includes retailers shifting to online sales, more people working from home, and various services being delivered digitally. Furthermore, the pandemic necessitated a more rapid transition to e-health, including online general practitioner consultations for routine medical services. You don't have to leave your home to chat to the doctor. That's fantastic. The Australian government's digital economy economy strategy 2030 highlighted that almost 9 in 10 Australian businesses adopted a new technology during COVID-19 to support business continuity, and 99.99% of these technologies use the internet in some way, shape, or form, hence NBN. Now, adoption is typically higher for technologies that are fundamental and have broader use across a range of business applications. For example, 57% of Australian businesses reported using cloud technology in the ABS 2019 to 2020 Business Characteristics Survey, and more than 1/4 of businesses reported using cybersecurity software, which actually is kind of scary that only 1/4 is using them. These foundational technologies like the NBN have widespread applications and are often necessary to have in place when adopting more advanced types of digital and data tools. More specifically, over the next 3 years, the technology running on top of the NBN could realize businesses $224 billion in savings and uplift the GDP by 1.3% above the base in 2030, which we kind of need right now as we are in a recession, or not really a recession. Noting that on average 54% of these gains come from productivity enhancing business process improvements and 32% come from reduced technology costs. So the issue here is that transparency may end up slowing your NBN upgrades, but hopefully it means they can happen in the right places and bring about the right results, and then your taxpayer money does well. Maybe, we'll see. Let me know your thoughts below. Now, a couple of tidbits from last fortnight, so strap in, it's going to be fast one. Aussie Broadband has hit a customer milestone of 500,000. Congrats to them, that's some epic growth. US officials ordered Nvidia to halt sales of top AI chips to China unless it serves to help its AI team grow, which makes little sense, but hey, China. Telstra has converted 3,000 phone booths to Wi-Fi hubs, which has probably better internet coverage than Vodafone network towers. NBN Co's CCO Brad Whitcomb is jumping ship after 8 long years at NBN Co. Whitcomb is joining Telstra with absolutely no conflict of interest, wishing him all the best. Actually, as a side note, if you're a Vodafone customer, let me know how your coverage has been like in the last, let's say, few months. Mine has been absolutely abysmal. Lastly, what did the buffalo say to his son as he walked out the door? Bye, son! Happy Father's Day to everyone. Thanks for watching. Make sure to tap the like button if you like this video and subscribe if you want to support us. Bye!